Woman opened the door to her house early in the morning. She was stunned by the sight before her. The grass in front of her house turned into a forest overnight. She asked her husband what happened. The man said the woman was mistaken. Our house has always been in this forest. The wife was puzzled. She remembered that she and her husband ate dinner together on the grass outside the house last night. How could the forest have grown in a single night's sleep? Mark had to reassure his wife. Maybe she was too tired recently. She would be fine after a good rest. The next morning, Ellie woke up and the first thing she did was rush out of the house to check again. But today there was a hill in front of her house, and there was a stream running underneath it. Ellie was in shock. She couldn't stand still for a moment. She rolled straight down the hill and fell into the water. Luckily, her husband arrived in time. She survived. When Ellie woke up, she hugged her husband, thanking him for saving her. But here's the weird thing. Mark said it never happened. Ellie felt her dry hair. There was no sign of water. She suspected she was ill and hallucinating. Mark speculated that, because his wife had just survived a serious car accident, the accident also took the lives of her mother and father. The double blow of mental and physical. That's what triggered the disease. Ellie thought it made sense, so she just lay down at home and slept. She didn't go anywhere. Nourish her body and think less. She'd get better. That morning she ate her husband's breakfast. She asked Mark before she left the house, "Is it still the same forest outside our house?" When she got an affirmative answer, Ellie opened the door in a happy mood. But this time, it was the same grass as before. Ellie sat down on her arse. She couldn't understand. The scene in front of her was so real. It didn't seem like an illusion. Mark saw that Ellie was still not convinced. Mark suggested that she take a walk before jumping to conclusions. And sure enough, it wasn't long before Ellie felt dizzy. She tried to walk back, but suddenly she fainted. She was getting worse. Mark took her to the doctor. Luckily, the doctor said she was fine. As long as she takes her medication regularly, she would stop hallucinating. Soon it was the next morning. Ellie went outside with confidence. But today, the doorway had changed again. But this time she had an idea. Amy took out her mobile phone. She took a picture of the creek in front of her house and secretly sent it to her best friend. But what she didn't expect, her best friend would say, "This is the river in front of your house." Now Ellie had to accept the fact that she was seriously mentally ill. She felt guilty and brought her husband a bottle of water. She blamed herself for doubting those closest to her. But as she was pouring the water for herself, a terrible thought occurred to her. This was the first time she'd poured herself water since the accident. Before that, her husband, Mark, had always given her water. When she thought about it, she immediately went back to the house to check the drinking water in the house. She found that the lids of the water bottles were different colors. She drank water with red lids, but her husband, Mark, only drank water from blue-colored bottles. Is there something wrong with the water? Ellie wanted to find out if it was what she thought it was. She brought all the mineral water to the table and began to change the corks one by one. But when she got to the last one, her hand shook. The cap fell to the bottom of the cupboard. At that moment, Ellie heard her husband walking, but she was quick. Before the man came in, Mark drank a bottle of water at lunch. It was from the exchange, and soon enough, he started to feel dizzy. He took a shower, but he still didn't feel well, so he went outside. He made a phone call and drove out. Ellie jumped at the chance. She came outside to check on him right away.